I visited the Willis factory here in Liverpool and heard the fabulous array of sounds that can be produced by Henry Willis III's organ in the cathedral. And now, I'm really keen to find out more about the family who provided 4 generations of master organ builders and whose skills are still being practiced today. This is the factory of Willis & Sons in central Liverpool. I've come here to talk to David Wyld, the managing director. So where did the company start off?
In London, 1845, Henry Willis had served an apprenticeship with John Gray, which firm later became Gray and Davison in London, and he decided that he could do better than this, and he started his own firm. He was really still quite a young man. People thought that he was very presumptuous to do that, and within a very short time, I think 1847, he got the contract to rebuild the organ at Tewkesbury, and on the basis of that, he became very bold with himself and decided he'd get married, which brought new responsibilities, and obviously after that he had to start getting more work to keep him and his new family.
Father Willis was one of the most famous of the Victorian organ builders and an excellent organist himself. There was a competition during the Great Exhibition of 1851 held at the Crystal Palace. Father Willis's instrument was one of the largest submitted, for which he was awarded the Gold Medal for organ building. It was from this success that he funded his future career, going on to build more than 1,000 organs, including the instrument at St George's Hall in Liverpool, and those at St Paul's Cathedral, and the Royal Albert Hall in London. Willis was an innovator, and he introduced several new features which had a significant effect on subsequent organ design. His instrument at Canterbury being one of the first to use electrical power, for example. But what was Father Willis like as a person?
If you got into a row with him, or an argument of really to any degree with him, you could expect him not to back down. That's the sort of man that he was. But I think you needed to be. It was a very aggressive trade. It still is. There's still a great deal of competition in what we do, and it was even more so in those days.
Despite his genius and determination as an organ builder, by the time of his death in 1901, Willis's business was suffering financial problems. It took the hard work of his son Henry II and the dynamic energy of his grandson, known as Henry III, to set the company's finances on a firm footing once more. Henry III mastered almost every aspect of organ building personally and managed to combine the firm's best traditions with all that was worth adopting in modern organ building. Remembered as a great organ builder in his own right, Henry Willis III died in 1966 and Henry Willis IV sold the company in the 1980s. Without a Willis at the helm, can the same wonderful effect be achieved today?
I was incredibly lucky in knowing Mr. Willis, Henry IV, because he taught me the basis of the Willis voicing scheme, the system.
Right.
It is just the system, and as long as you do everything the way that the system tells you should do it, you'll get the same result. The scales for the pipework are already set. They were done by previous generations in the firm. I'm very lucky I've inherited all of this knowledge.
But what is it? What is that quality that makes a Willis a Willis?
There's a boldness about Willis voicing, to my mind. I'm biased, of course, but there's something there that the voicing of other firms' pipework doesn't give me, and I think that that's what most other Willis fans would say. There's a boldness in the voicing which just isn't there with other firms.
And you've never been tempted to change anything?
No.
No.
No, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm not a proper organist myself, but opinion about the Willis factory seemed fairly unanimous among real organists like Chris McDade.
I think the great thing about the organ as an instrument is that you've got so much different colours at your fingertips as a keyboard specialist. You've got all sorts of different colours and nuances that you can use. As a solo instrument, it's fantastic. The Willis itself, of course, the Willis being probably arguably the best company in the world, possibly in the world, certainly in England. And the record and the reputation of Willis goes without saying. It speaks for itself. The instrument itself is just phenomenal. And the fact that it can actually play on so many different dynamic levels and can accompany so many different things so well, and also at the same time serve as such a fantastic solo instrument, I think is testament to Willis's expertise, vision, insight and building skills. And the fact that here we are in 2010 and the instrument still stands up to what it was intended to do and put in the building so many years ago, I think is testament to what Willis and the whole Willis family was all about.
Back at the console of the Willis organ in Liverpool Cathedral, I asked Ian Tracey if there was anything he would change.
It is a masterpiece, and therefore as such one wouldn't change a thing. Yes, there are things which with modern taste one might quite like. You know, who is it? Was it Harvey Grace that said an organist is like a worn-out cart horse, always longing for another stop? And in fact, you know, we do, don't we? We'd like one of those and one of those. But actually, it is a real sweetie factory. I mean, we've got just about everything an organist could want up there.
In making this documentary, I've learnt quite a lot about making organs and how they're played. In the hands of Ian Tracey, one of the world's finest organists, the organ at Liverpool Cathedral truly deserves the title, the King of Instruments.